Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Carlazon, Principal Editor of NPP Digital Psychiatry and Neuroscience. Welcome to the DPN Deep Dive, our journal's AI-generated podcast that summarizes DPN articles in short, accessible episodes. Each episode is created using Google's Notebook LM, refined by our tech-savvy social media team, and approved by the authors to ensure clarity, accuracy, and approachability. Let's dive into this episode to explore the latest research in digital psychiatry and neuroscience.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Imagine if your smartphone, just by looking at the words you type every day, could silently signal how you're really doing after a traumatic event. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating new study that explores exactly that, how your everyday language might offer this subtle but, well, maybe powerful window into your post-trauma well-being.
Right, and this deep dive, it specifically looks at a secondary analysis. It's from the Aurora study that stands for Advancing Understanding of Recovery After Trauma. Now, the Aurora study itself, it's this huge long-term project. They tracked outcomes for trauma survivors, recruited from 33 different emergency departments across the U.S.
Okay, so a big established study is the foundation, and this specific paper.
This paper, it's titled, Smartphone Language Features May Help Identify Adverse Post-Traumatic Neuropsychiatric Sequelae and Their Trajectories. So basically they're asking, can the way you use language on your phone help spot those tricky mental and emotional challenges after trauma, and maybe even how those challenges change over time?
Wow. It's kind of mind-boggling that the words I'm just tapping out could tell someone I'm struggling, without me actually saying it. How did they even start to figure that out?
Well, the method is pretty clever. They passively collected word data. We're talking 1,744 Android users, followed for 6 months right after a traumatic incident. And crucially, this wasn't like, hey, write in this journal app. It was collected quietly, passively, through a specialized app. Then they took all that language data and correlated it with how people reported feeling their symptoms, like pain, depression, sleep issues.
Gotcha. So passive data versus active self-reports. What kind of language things did they actually find? What are these language features?
Yeah, good question. They pinpointed 14 distinct language features linked to someone's current symptom severity. So think about stuff like how often you use I versus we, or maybe how many emotion words pop up, or even specific mentions of the body or health.
Okay, like word categories. Any specific examples that stood out?
Definitely. For instance, people reporting higher physical pain or what are called somatic symptoms, physical discomforts like fatigue, headaches, maybe without a clear medical cause. Those people tended to use more words referring to other people.
Huh. More references to others when in more pain. That seems counterintuitive, maybe.
It does a bit, doesn't it? It could suggest that maybe when people are in pain, they reach out more. Or perhaps their discomfort makes them more aware of their social world. It's a really interesting angle on how, social stuff might connect with physical feelings during recovery.
Yeah, that is interesting. What about the emotional side, like negative feelings?
They saw that too. An increase in using negative emotion words. That correlated pretty clearly with higher hyperarousal, that feeling of being constantly on edge, easily startled, anxious, and also with more reported depression. Which, maybe makes intuitive sense, but seeing it actually emerge from just passive phone data is quite powerful.
Right. It validates the approach. But here's what really grabs me. Did these patterns just show a snapshot, or could they tell us about changes over time, like predicting if someone's getting worse or better?
Yes, exactly. And that's key for potentially using this clinically, right? They found 5 specific language features linked to the trajectory of symptoms over those 6 months. So, for example, if someone's pain or their somatic symptoms or even their thinking and concentration problems were getting worse, that lined up with them using more references to their body or health.
So like an increasing focus inwards on the physical problems.
Seems like it, yeah. A growing preoccupation, perhaps. And conversely, if someone's somatic symptoms were decreasing, that was linked to an increase in references to other people. So maybe as the physical discomfort fades, their focus shifts outward again back towards their social world.
Okay, stepping back then. What does this all mean practically for you listening? These subtle signals sound incredibly promising, but I guess it's not like a magic diagnostic tool yet.
No, definitely not a magic bullet, you're right. But it's a really significant step. This research suggests these kinds of language markers, just picked up from everyday phone use,
Yeah.
they could potentially help clinicians monitor health remotely, maybe identify people at risk of getting worse before it gets really bad, or even track how well a treatment is actually working.
Like an early warning system almost, built into something you use anyway.
Kind of, yeah. Imagine instead of filling out a form every week, your phone just quietly notices, say, your use of I words has shot up, and maybe that's a soft signal you're withdrawing and could use a check-in. It's non-invasive.
Okay, but we should always talk limitations. Every study has them. What were the main caveats here?
Good point. A key one is the participants. They were mostly motor vehicle collision survivors, recruited from ERs, and importantly, only Android users were included. So that specific group. It might limit how much we can generalize these findings to, say, survivors of different traumas, or iPhone users, or the wider population.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, also, it's important to remember this was an exploratory study. It's finding interesting links and associations, not proving direct cause and effect. And there's a small chance the daily surveys participants also did could have somehow influenced their language. Plus, future work really needs to look into potential sex differences, combine this with other passive data, maybe like activity levels, and track people for longer.
Right, so more research needed as always. But the big takeaway feels pretty clear. That simple act of typing on your phone the words you choose, it could hold these really deep, real-time insights into your health journey.
It really could, and it makes you think, doesn't it? How might your own digital footprint down the line offer you insights into your own well-being, or maybe help others understand what you're going through, even when you don't explicitly say it? It opens up fascinating possibilities for more proactive health awareness.
Definitely something to mull over, absolutely. Until next time.